Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So my name is Paul and today we're going to be discovering if CRM is actually sexier than data science. Okay, so a few years ago, actually back in 2012, Thomas Davenport said that data science was the sexiest profession of the 21st century. Okay, so a few years after that, so fast tracking 2021, after the impact of COVID-19 that actually fast-tracked completely digital transformation. The question is still that the case, or is actually CRM now sexier than data science? In connection to that, I will then unfolding what is the current demand of CRM versus data science, but also going to be talking about then what is the role of data in connection to the building of a strong customer life cycle. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to be also showcasing to you a few of the analytics and the advanced analytics that you can actually take out by combining then data science with CRM in connection to marketing and sales. Okay, for that and much more, stick around if you want to know more. Okay, let's then try to understand if actually CRM is sexier than data science. Okay, so in order to start to understand that, let's go and check the demand. Okay, so if we look into the CRM side of things, so and according to Gartner, we have roughly 67 billion of market size, globally speaking. Okay, and the expectation is to have a growth of roughly up to 94 billion in 2027. Okay, so if we look then into the data science side of things, the market size is of roughly 43 billion, and the expectation is to go up to 81 billion in 2027. Okay, so on the back of that, also it's also important to make reference that as we stand right now, there are a few key points, let's say, that drive this growth. Okay, for both areas, let's put it like that. If we look then into the CRM side of things, there are a few. Okay, so one of the things is that marketing as let's say as an area, it transformed a lot on the last years, 10 years or so. So it became much more stronger, much more operational, much more automated, let's say, and with a stronger, let's say, seat at the table. If we look at the revenue cycle, looking at the business side of things within a company. Aside from that, also sales actually became much smarter, let's say, much more automated, much more techy. Okay, and all of that marketing technology and sales technology and the growth actually of that actually push forward, let's say, the spends within CRM and the market size, and therefore the demand of people that actually can work on that specific area. Okay, so there is of course the elephant in the room. Okay, so we are talking about essentially COVID-19. Okay, the accelerator, let's say, of digital transformation. All of that actually fast-tracked even further. Okay, to focus on the customer centricity, and on the back of that, the investment on the CRM. Okay, so those are a few of the drivers that actually drove a lot CRM. Okay, if you have, let's say, a different view or a different perspective, I would like really to get your thoughts. So feel free to drop it on the comments below. On the back of that as well, if you want to know more about the CRM and the growth of the CRM, and also what are the main players, so that you can actually choose if you want to go into this area, check on the link below. I made a video around that. Feel free to check and understand what is the best CRM solution out there, so that you can actually invest wisely. Okay, this from a company perspective or even from an individual perspective, if you want to actually ride the wave. Let's look then into the data science side of things. Okay, so data science has a market size of roughly 43 billion globally speaking. Okay, and we are looking at the growth up to 2027 of roughly 81 billion. Okay, so there you can already see a difference between CRM and actually data science per se. Okay, so what is it that actually is driving data science forward? Okay, what is it that actually drove data science forward? So everything around data. So we have a massive amount of data on our mobiles, on our laptops, social media, cloud, whatever you. Okay, all of that drove tremendously data science, and of course the need of understanding of the customer behavior, the need of understanding of the patterns of consumption and purchase. Okay, all of that actually drove data science forward. Okay, so once more, if you have different thoughts with regards to that, feel free to drop it on the comment below, or if you have questions, I'd like to get more out of that. Okay, so on the back of that, and just to close on this topic, what are the main players, okay, in terms of solutions that are out there that actually are driving both markets? So if we look into the CRM space, we are actually considering then Salesforce, we are actually talking about Microsoft, Oracle, Zoho, Adobe. There are loads of CRM solutions out there that actually have grown quite a lot, okay, and they're growing continuously because there is just demand for that. It's impressive, okay. And if we look then into the data science side of things, the main players that I can underline are, for instance, Python, of course, are all of those open source, but aside from that, you also have, for instance, Alteryx, you have Microsoft, you have even Google, all of those solutions. Also Tableau for more data visualization side of things. All of those solutions invested a lot in terms of the data science, the data visualization, the analytics, in order actually to better have an understanding of how is the customer at the end. Okay, so with that said, I'm closing this topic. Okay, if you want to have any further questions or topics with regards to this, just drop it on the comments below. I'll follow up on that. Okay, so let's close on this and let's move forward to the next topic, let's say, or subtopic within this conversation. Okay, stick around if you want to know more. Okay, then looking even further. Okay, so is it then CRM and data science are completely disconnected? Actually, on the flip side. Okay, so why? Because data actually plays a very strong role, okay, in terms of the customer life cycle. And why is this so? Because if you have a sea of data, as you have, okay, being within the CRM or even outside of CRM. Okay, so there is a need actually to have a clear understanding of the patterns of consumption, behavior, how to actually just communicate or interact or engage with your customer throughout the customer life cycle. Okay, so that's from acquisition up to retention, win back, etc. All of those different steps are then full of data from the beginning till the very end. Okay, so for you to actually have a better understanding of how is it that you can and you should engage, it's fundamental for you to actually to get a grip on your data and to have an understanding of your data. Okay, most of the times what's happening is that you don't have the full view of your customer within the CRM. Okay, and therefore you need to go out and actually collect more data. Okay, but what you have within your CRM is essentially the normal behavior, let's say, or the buying behavior of the customer, the relationship that you have with the customer, all those touch points that allows for you then to be smarter on the way you actually address it, on the way you engage in terms of the marketing campaigns or even of the sales interactions or actions. Okay, so on the top of that, of course, then you can actually use data science to leverage the information that you have within the CRM in combination with whatever you have, for instance, outside, and take out the best possible, let's say, insights and inputs that allow you to take the best possible decision. Okay, so this is one of the strongest points, let's say, that let's say build the marriage between actually CRM and data science is heavily around the role that the data plays in terms of the customer life cycle. Okay, to close then we're going to be just talking about a few of the analytics that you can actually take out of the CRM in combination with data science. Okay, so stick around if you want to know more. So what are the analytics that you can actually take out of your CRM? Okay, so looking into this marriage between CRM and data science, there are a few. Okay, so to start from, if you look at the CRM, you already have loads of data by default. Okay, if you are actually actively using the CRM, and you can use that data to actually to have a better understanding of your customer, the behavior of your customer, the relationship with the customer, and on the back of that, actually have stronger marketing actions and campaigns, but also sales actions and even go-to-market strategy. But then on top, if you, instead of actually just having a silo approach, if you combine that with big data, and if you use, and by big data I mean data outside of the CRM, okay, and if you actually use data science to actually to have a better understanding of the patterns and the behaviors, etc., leveraging the information that you already have inside of the CRM, then most likely you're going to be building much stronger predictive models, okay, that allow for you to actually have a much more success in terms of how is it that you interact with your customer, and potentially speaking also with leads and potential business. Okay, so for that it's fundamental then to break out the silos, and having this combination of these two sides of the data, let's say the CRM data and the outside data, okay, the big data, let's put it like that, across that exists outside, in a nutshell. Okay, so with that said, is that the only way that you have? Actually, no. So for instance, with the growth of CRM, what you also could tell that there was more and more solutions coming into play from a marketing technology and the sales technology point of view, okay, that are connected on top of the CRM, and therefore allows for you actually have already a better understanding of the customer, how is it that you can interact at, and etc. But nevertheless, there is really a role for data science to play here, and I'm going to give you 3 examples of some of the analytics that you can actually take out of the CRM in combination with data science. So to start from, we can have, for instance, a better understanding of the adoption, okay, by using, for instance, RFM analysis, so recency, frequency, and monetary, for you to understand what is the level of adoption of a given customer, okay. Aside from that, for instance, also segmentation, okay, so you can use statistical models actually to understand the segmentation, okay, and by using k-mean clusters, but also ANOVA, that allows for you, or machine learning, that allows for you to actually to understand the segmentation. Also, to close, another thing that you can actually use data science for is actually to understand the customer churn, okay? And then on the back of that, of course, the objective is to minimize and optimize the way you actually have the interaction with the customer throughout the customer lifecycle. Okay, with that said, I'm going to be closing this specific topic, and don't go anywhere, stick around. So I'm going to be sharing with you what is then my take with regards to the sexier profession. Okay, is it CRM or actually data science? So stick around. Okay, to close, so then what's my take on this one? So I would say that if we consider the fact that CRM, as we stand, has a market size of roughly 67 billion, as an expectation of growth, according to Gartner, up to 94 billion in 2027, in comparison to data science that is roughly 43 billion, and it's expected to grow up to 81 billion. And then on the back of that, if you look at all the impact that COVID-19 had in terms of fast tracking digital transformation, okay, and everything that goes on the back of that, the focus on the customer, but also I would say all the change on the role of the marketing and the side and the sales side of things, that started to become much more operational, much more automated, much more gears towards let's say, business, much more geared towards the customer and the integration with the customer in connection to tech, etc. And then we look at data science. I would say that for me, without a question, CRM is sexier than data science. Okay, with that said, I would like for you to drop your comments below, and let's have this confirmation or this conversation on why is it that is sexier or not. Okay, so apart from that, if you want to know more about CRM or even about data science, just reach out. Okay, I'm happy to address your questions and share with you my thoughts with regards to the CRM that I'm currently working on, but also in terms of the data science and the data side of things where I used to work, but I also have very strong connections in terms of the market and colleagues, so that most likely they will be happy to address whatever questions you may have with regards to the specific area. Okay, with that said, give it a thumbs up, join me on this journey, smash the like button, and then hit the notification bell. Okay, with that said, that's it guys, take care, cheers.